This dress features a full 360-degree flare. First, measure the hem to determine the yardage. The outer layer, made from this flowery fabric, takes almost 5 yards. The lining is also a 360-degree flare, and I have cut a 9-inch hard net strip to be placed along the created line and flipped down for structure. This pattern tutorial is linked. Here I have transferred the front and back bodice pieces to fabric, both the outer flowery fabric and the linings, including the front bodice and yoke. To start sewing, identify the right side of the fabric, place the yoke on the bodice as shown. Insert the needle at the center, pivot and sew one side by ½ inch. Notch the center, flip and repeat for the other half. Here is what the right side looks like. Bring in the lining and cover the upper chest area. Leave the armholes open. Adding hemming gum here is optional but helpful. Notch the sweetheart curve. Turn to the right side, and the next thing is to turn the yoke neckline with a bias. The tagged video shows how to sew a bias. For the waist, this fabric is to create the pleated band. Fold the top by ironing with a hemming gum, then keep folding your desired number of pleats. Here is the back piece. Place the lining right side on the main fabric right side. Sew the neckline by 0.5 inch. Leave the zipper allowance open. Notch and turn to the right side. Then repeat for the other back piece. The band is ready. Attach it to the main piece only as shown. Come in with the back bodice. Sew the sides of the front and back main fabric together first by 1 inch. Open to the right side and repeat same on the other side. Repeat sewing the sides of the lining piece as well. Now here's what both the right side and the wrong side look like. The next thing is to join the shoulders using a 0.5 inch seam allowance. Trim the excess fabric and turn inside out. Repeat on the other shoulder. Now this completes the bodice construction. For the skirt area, I have sewn a loose gathering stitch along the waistline of the fabric. Now pull the threads to create gathers. Place the gathered fabric on the lining. I make sure the measurements are aligned before top stitching. Come in with the upper bodice. Lay the gathered fabric on it, right sides together. A quick tip here is to pin both the center backs first. Then place the waist on fold. Notch the middle. Place on fold again and mark. Pin one notch on one side seam to see the excess of fabric to be eased into that space. Pin the other marked point as well. Fold the seam allowances like a triangle and stitch in place. The middle notch should be pinned on the middle of the bodice. Identifying the quarter points helps for even distribution of gathers along the waistline. After joining, here's what it looks like. Secure the pleated band by marking 3 points and top stitching in place. The hard net is then sewn onto the lining at the marked line. Pleat the hard net as you sew along. Leave about 2 inches before the edge. To secure it further, I bend the seam allowance over and top stitch onto the hard net as shown. Here's the right side of the lining. Notch the 4 points on the lining along the waistline. Fold the seam allowances into the triangle at each point as shown. Sew the lining flare onto the body's waist the same way as the main fabric. Next, join the center back of the main fabric with a 1-inch seam allowance. Stop just before the hem of the satin to allow for folding. On the lining, come down 7 inches from the waistline, separating the hard net from the stitching area before sewing with a 1-inch seam. To finish the lining, overlap the hard net. Sew then flip it downward for a clean finish. With the main dress done, insert the zipper and move on to the sleeves. Each sleeve is 18 inches wide. Place the lining on top. Notice the edges are overlocked. Sew the hem by 0.5 inch. Trim off excess fabric. Cut a rectangular piece. Overlock all edges and fold. Now I am folding the last edge by 1/4 inch. Run a loose stitch on the middle to pull and create gathers for the ruffle effect. Top stitch the ruffle on the main sleeve, aligning it between the 2 marked points. Secure the ends as preferred. I did mine in a heart shape. For the sleeve hem, create a 0.5 inch casing for elastic. After measuring and inserting the elastic, sew another loose stitch along the sleeve scarp. Pull the thread slightly for a gathered effect. Placing the sleeve right sides together, sew with a 0.5 inch seam. Match up the sleeve and bodice at the side seams before attaching them by 0.5 inch. With one sleeve inserted, repeat the same process for the second sleeve. At this point, the zipper is fixed. The hems are folded and the upper bodice is accessorized. To add more details, I attached ostrich feathers to the sleeves. I later removed the elastic from the sleeve hem for a different look. Finally, for the back view, create a statement bow, completing this beautiful flowery princess dress. Thank you for watching. If this tutorial was helpful, please drop a comment, like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell for more videos. Bye.